Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the TL Performance Podcast. This is Coach Tom. And while I wait on the tee at this gorgeous golf course, I thought I'd share some of my thoughts, especially being that it is the week of the Open Championship over in the UK at the historic St. Andrews Golf Course. So I was thinking about golf because I was watching it, and I'm sure many of you, if you do play, has heard the saying, drive for show and putt for dough. And I thought, that's an interesting saying, not only in the world of golf, but in training and how your mindset applies to your training process, the planning of training and all those things. Because in golf, if you can try to smash it all you want off the tee, but if you don't have the skills and the ability and the boring shots where you have to chip or putt, then it doesn't matter how far you can hit it. It's not all about strength. And that applies so much towards everyday fitness for general public and athletes as well, because so much of what you see on social media is about how much weight someone is lifting, oftentimes with absolutely horrendous form. In fact, it became popular for people to lift crazy amounts of weight, and they would always then put the caveat at the end, I knew my form wasn't too good, but I got it. And it's like, well, you didn't get it, because if you can't do it with good form, then you didn't get it. Getting it is with good form. And you're going down the path of injury and performance decrement when you do prioritize it in that way. But it just shows what people's values are in both in the industry and personal trainers, because they're the ones that oftentimes share this value and clients buy into it. And then there's marketing that does that as well. And strength training has become the symbol for training, and that's just not it. It's only a piece of training. And then on top of that, there's the highly image-driven American culture. And I think this is happening around the world too, where it's more important for people to have a six-pack and they think that applies to their athletic performance than it is to actually training for performance. And maybe CrossFit might be responsible for that too, because they made working out in itself a sport, and that's not what it is. And I recently talked about this in one of my rest periods when I was training, that strength training is not self-care. At least I don't advocate that you look at it that way. Self-care is recovery. And if you learn how to master your recovery, then strength training, you'll learn how to train properly and you'll maximize your training. So if you haven't seen that video, go check that out. So drive for show, putt for dough. So in golf, your training should revolve around skills training, and that can be working on your swing. And if anyone's ever done that, it's not about swinging as hard as you can either. When you get the swing technically correct, it's just basic physics. The way you swing, you're generating more torque, and that creates the club head speed. It's not about muscling it up. And then there's flexibility, which if you've worked with me or you know that I talk about flexibility constantly. It's something I've learned from KSI. It is such an important physical quality that people need dramatically in their life. They're so tight and they don't get. And in particular, golf is one of those sports where you don't need to be buffed at all. And flexibility is probably the number one physical quality that will benefit you there. So in golf, we can apply that too if we work on our skills and our short game. So that's tactics as well. So around the golf course, it doesn't always matter how far you hit it, but where you hit it's really important. My grandfather used to kick my butt when I was younger. I could outdrive him by 30, 40, 50 yards, but he could putt really well. And he always was on the fairway, where I was on the rough and I was behind the trees. So it doesn't matter if I could hit it that far if I wasn't accurate and I didn't play the course to where it would make things easier for me. And the same thing you can apply to your training for whatever your sport is, or even if you like strength training. It's not as simple as just doing strength training. There's a lot of other things: learning how to recover, learning how to stretch. There's planning out some endurance training if that's appropriate, planning out some speed training if that's appropriate. There's just so many things you can do. So when you're deciding what are you going to do, ask yourself this question: is my training about driving for show or am I putting for dough? Because where's the money at? Then that's where the long-term success, the long-term health is. And that's where you want to be. As always, if you have any questions, you can comment below. You can always email me. My email is tom@tlperformancela.com. Check out my website. Guess what? tlperformancela.com. And find me on Instagram, coach.tomleggett. Until next time.